Welcome to Coach Soul, the podcast where we explore therapeutic ways to the best versions of ourselves. I'm your host, Steve Hudgins. I'm a licensed professional counselor dedicated to helping you navigate life's challenges. In each uplifting episode, we'll discuss mental health, relationships, self-care, emotional well-being, and personal growth, providing you with valuable insights and actionable tips to thrive. Join me and with my co-host, Evelyn, a therapeutic life coach, where sometimes we'll even welcome special guests to our show that share their experience and expertise. Whether you're looking to improve your relationships or find greater joy, you're in the right place. So let's embark on this transformative path together and discover a healthier and happier you. All right, welcome to Coach Soul. Kenya, you know, this is a soft launch, and one of the things that I want to talk about is Coach Soul. And one of the things that I definitely want us to do on our soft launch is we have been podcasting, but, you know, we're fixing to hit my birthday. Today is my birthday, and so we're going to celebrate a pre-launch. And fall is just 2 or 3 days around the corner. Amazing. And with change, it's how do we deal with change?
I love it so much. Well, I wish people on YouTube will have a treat because I'm going to show my new sparkly bottle, celebration bottle. Ooh.
Bling, bling.
And I love your shirt. Your very American
celebrate.
Shirt. Come on, let's celebrate. Happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you.
And the thing about change is you can't stop it.
No.
It's like trying to hold the sun. It will squeeze it out. You can't hold a child from growing their feet. You can't hold growth. You can't hold it. I can stop.
And I think we talked a little bit about off mic about growth and things like that. And, you know, it's kids can't see the growth. We can. Sometimes we can't see our growth, but I can see my growth.
Other people can.
I see my growth. I look at my dryer and I pull my clothes out and I said, okay, did the dryer shrink me? My clothing, you know, so I do see my growth that way. So I'm trying to get fit back in, right? So it's not that kind of growth. We know that. No. And it's the growth is that this podcast is great because we are growing and we're excited about the future, about where things are at. Kenya, let's do some introduction here. What kind of got you started in doing transformational coaching?
Pain. 100% pain. I knew that all the tools I had in my life, excuse me, because I already had done music therapy and I already had done health coaching and I got into life coaching and I've been collecting certifications for different reasons, trying to find the answer for myself, seeking that which would integrate everything and my desire to help others, starting with my own children. I could see in them some flare of generational patterns. I was like, oh no, not under my watch. I'm going to pass down stuff to you and let you deal with it if it's mine. So I got to go deeper for me, for the love of my legacy, and because I know that my calling is universal. Not everybody walk around like, oh, I wish I could help millions of people. I have always been that way. I wish my music could reach you and could massage your heart. I wish I had that desire. As I became an adult, God transformed using my voice into coaching, into just getting hold of you as a co-creator with God. You're not a victim of your life. Right. But there was a decoding between information and integration. This is why I went deep. I know it's a long answer and is even more longer the journey, and it's never done. Every time that I'm in your presence, every time I'm with a client, there is fine tuning
Yes.
the masterpiece that we are, that I am, that you are.
You know, the thing about it is that it's funny because what do we do with pain? Some of us are ostriches and we want to bury our head and we don't want to deal with the pain, but the pain still is there. That's where I come up with my word splinters, is that the pain caused by life is splinters entering into our emotional being, our soul, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
Steve, answer the question. Answer the question for us. The one that you just asked me. I would love to hear what got you. What got you in it? Come on.
What got me in it? Pain.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
It was my own splinters. You know, it's a learning experience that I came about. And, you know, when you go through life, and as a child, I had the pain, physical, emotional, spiritual pain. And you get married and you think this is a lifetime. And things that when you're in your 20s, you don't have the full knowledge that you're needing to understand a family. Correct. And unfortunately, there were events that took place. I had to fight for custody, got laws changed to mandatory joint custody in my state. Had to take her back and got custody of my children, which I'm proud of. To be able to take it from 4 days of a month to at least more time to be spent with them. Now I understand the pain and the fathers of sometimes why they walk away from children is because of the complexities of the ex, the spouse, that causes the pain, and they don't want. It's just easier to walk away. And so through this, I began a journey of healing. You know, I'm not ashamed. I did therapy. I did 3 years of therapy. I took medication to try to work on who I am. Again, life happens. And yes, I've been married and divorced and had a blended family and things of that nature. But through this process, I became a therapist. I switched careers from being a telecom engineer to engineering of the mind, so to speak. And as I got further into understanding behavioral patterns, I love what I do. And I want to encourage people that, yes, we have pain, but what do we do? Do we stay where we're at? Do we stay fallen? Go ahead.
May I acknowledge you in behalf of every daughter and son that their dad walked away. Thank you for fighting. To be present. I know you were not able to be present as much as you wanted to. Yes, it is easier to walk away and just not get involved in the drama. And yet, the code that I receive, you see, I use the word codes because for me, it's all informations like downloads, informational codes, right? So the code I receive is that he doesn't care. I'm not worth fighting. But of course, I was 3. It's not like I knew even what the meaning of the word worthy. I just knew that I must not be special enough. I must, because he literally left for me and came back when I was a teenager. So the fact that you stood up to, no, I really want that relationship with my kids, even though it's exhausting, the drama and all the things.
Sure.
The information I know that in your I know, and I don't know them, but I know that the information that they got is he fought for me. He wanted me. I was wanted. I was special. Regardless of the other lies they were listening, your behavior, because behavior is a language, show that you are you're there for them.
You know, as a father, I
don't want this to just be dismissed really quick.
No, I appreciate that. And it's still a topsy-turvy event because there's an up and down roller coaster with relationships. And it's what they've learned from them, from their other side, right?
It's learned behavior.
It is a learned behavior. do I take responsibility for some of the errors that I've caused in over discipline or yelling? Sure. I've also apologized. I've also changed those behaviors. And that's one of the things my daughter recognized and said, you know what? The one thing I do remember about you is that you were very interactive between my brother and I.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant so much to me to have some closure there of thinking I was a bad dad because there was no relationship.
So before we moved on, because this is a pre-launch call,
It is.
I want to acknowledge our beloved listeners.
Yes.
And maybe they're going through this situation right now. I just want to encourage you to follow your heart. Truly. Let your kids know energetically and in the world that you love them. That because there is a gatekeeper, they're not going to keep your heart away. That you're there. It's okay. They will get it. I promise you they will get it. At some point they will get it. And trust that God has you.
Right.
In the relationship.
I'm glad you said that, Kenya, because our coach soul was birthed out of pain.
Sure.
We met through writing an anthology together, and that's what brought us together. Coach Soul is about owning the pain, but also recognizing the changes and the encouragement and the courage to have to make those changes. And you come out on the other side and you feel so refined.
Yes.
That, there's something more powerful and resilient.
Well, remember that the pain is information. Mm-hmm. Something hurt, right?
Yes.
My son just got hurt on a go-kart, Thank God he didn't break his arm, but it's totally bruised, completely bruised. What does the bruise means? There is inflammation underneath.
Right.
There's inflammation, and that is the information. So pain is always telling you something. Once you hear what the pain is telling you versus avoiding and just kind of don't look at it, right? You can alchemize. Another word for alchemize is integrate and transform into something else, transform into wisdom, transform into love. And the good news is that you don't need to do it alone.
And you're absolutely right. Sometimes when I think we get into pain, we isolate. And
it's always the tendency.
Right. Because we feel guilty or shame or embarrassed.
We don't want to be seen in pain.
Right.
We want to be seen strong, especially men. Can I just highlight that?
Oh, that we had a great segment, pre-launch with Brock Kendrick, who just was very vulnerable in his state, but how he claims himself as Superman. But he also knows his weaknesses, but his strengths as well. And that's the whole point of Coach Soul, is that we want to be able to take what is there, what we are dealing with on everyday basis, and be able to create a male-female perspective of being able to say, this is who we are. Mm-hmm. That Kenya and I are human beings that have gone through some the University of Hard Knocks, as 100%. We would call it,
and right? We are in it every day.
We are. We haven't graduated.
If I'm alive, I'm in it.
I teach at a university, and so I'm still growing by my students and in what they teach me and what I learn from them. And so it is a gathering. Once we begin to understand that we can be unique, and that it's okay to be unique, that we don't have to be the same. Recognize the pain, hold safe space. What a wonderful world, as that song would say, that we can be in. And
yes.
I feel grateful for you, Kenya, in our path and this launch that we're fixing to do, go big and go home, go live. We're not going home. We're going big.
No, we're not going home. We're expanding. We're expanding reach. We're expanding clarity. We're expanding our direction. In that expansion, I want to set up my intention, my personal intention. Is that okay if I will be so vulnerable? So listeners, it has become clear to me that one of my biggest direction in life is to, it's not little, it's pretty big, is to transform the way we do motherhood. We women do motherhood. It's not just me as a feminine person and a feminine power. That our energies, feminine and masculine, balanced, if you will, because I don't think it's ever balanced. There will be seasons that, it requires more, but you require both sides. And I mean, every human. But motherhood has been an old tale of sacrificial giving. Motherhood has been celebrated. Oh yeah, you're a good mom. You gave up everything. Good job. I did everything for my children. And that, I want you to listen to me when I say that. And I bet that you have heard that from your mother and your grandmother, because it's not just in Brazil. Please tell me in the comments here, anywhere, that it's not just in Brazil. There's something like, I did everything for you and this is what you do for me. Blah, 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 blah. And can you hear the hint of resentment in it? Both sides.
Yeah.
The side that received the things like, hey, I never asked you to do the thing, but thank you.
Right.
And the other one is like, are you really passing down the weight of your unaccomplished visions and dreams to your children out of quote, quote, love?
Right.
Too heavy. No, thank you.
And that's
either you alchemize the dream into something else and you live it, or you go ahead and live it, the dream exactly as it is, as we empower children to go live their dreams. And the reason to empower to live their dream, the path is to stop dreaming and get into action.
That it's about, are you living on pleasure? Are you going to live with intent of a purposeful life? Right. And you can have both. It's a balance of having pleasure, but also being intent in your pleasure or in purpose. Sometimes we think it's great to fly by the seat of the pants. Great. Let's 100%. Fly by the seat of our pants, right? We fly by the seat of our pants on our podcast. This is not rehearsed. Our podcasts are not rehearsed. And so
I call it guidance. I don't think that, it's just like, it's pure guidance, because it gets to be authentic, Steve, versus just bullet points. Let's talk about that. This is actually a conversational that has a point. And the point here is to elevate each other and the world, the listeners. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, as from a male perspective, a lot of times we don't want to be vulnerable because we don't want to be seen as weak.
There we go.
For our women, right? And so this podcast is trying to bring a male and female perspective that there's change that can happen to become a better you. That's our slogan, to be a better you. And it's getting out of the comfort zone of the familiar into something better and to experience life. I mean, I remember hiking up a mountain. It looks, oh my gosh, that's a lot of miles to go up. You're going up a mountain. But when you reach that mountaintop, what a beautiful, sensational view that you can see, and you see the past, the present, and the future, so to speak, on the mountaintop, even emotionally. But it's about living in the moment. In order to live in the moment, Kenya and I are trying to present such a program in such a way for you that we learn how to live in the moment, how to reduce the anxiety in your life. What about faith and trauma and those type of things? Looking at, just everyday life. And sometimes, it's male and female language.
Yes.
And I'm thankful, Kenya, you understand manese, and I'm glad I can understand womanese. And so we could be the translators, right?
Yes.
To try to help. And so that's what Coach Soul is about, is transformation, about how to do, because are we ever taught how to do life?
No, somehow, somewhere, there's something called life skills. And I love that the program, the name itself is being popular these days. And at the same time, life skills is when you are in it. When you're in it, you can't really read in a book. Otherwise, how many books we have read about men's are from Mars, women are for Venus, and all these relationship books and motherhood books. And then, excuse me, you have kids and they're completely different. What works for one doesn't work for another. You feel like you got this, and then next thing you know, you lose your nervous system, freak out, and you go in fire on fire mode. You start screaming. Wow, what was that? It's like we're very much in it. And no shame, no blame. Just noticed. Be your best friend. If I may just say it out loud, my own tricks for myself is focus on my breathing and focus on the intention. What is my why to listen to this podcast? Oh, I want to feel connected. I want to feel, they always give us some tips. So I want to feel like I have tools. I want to have fun with my children. Like if you're going through life without your intention, you truly are a feather in the wind, just surviving. You're an algorithm, just going.
Right.
So please, as you listen to this, make this the best day.
It's more than just a male and female perspective that we're bringing to the table. Kenya is a transformational therapeutic coach.
Leadership coach.
Tell us a little bit about that, and then I can go into, what I bring to the table. So ladies first, what is it that you bring to the table to the podcast?
So transformational leadership coach is emotional intelligence. So I went really deep learning the tools about emotional intelligence, which is so known as EQ. But more than knowing is applying and seeing the process of it's always a choice to shift. If you're triggered right now, great. What do you mean it's always a choice to shift? I mean, it is always a choice to shift. But you don't understand. If I'm in the darkest moment, I'm in clinical depression, it's always a choice to shift. Trust the intuition within. It's always a choice to shift, choice to reach out and not do it alone, right?
Right.
It's a choice to stand up and know that the vision that you have in your brain, in your heart, is for you. If you don't have a vision that forwards you, and by the way, it's all over every book, especially the Bible, without a vision, a man perish. If you don't have a vision, so this is all leadership. So I was deeply trained, and I still in training. I'm never complete in my training because there's always the next level. And I learned a lot from my own life, from my kids' life, from my clients' life. And for me, leadership brought everything that I have done in the past together. Because if I don't trust myself, would I do it? If I don't believe in myself, would I take the first step towards my dreams? If my dreams are not clear in my vision, would I walk the next open door? Would I look and declare to see a door that is opening? Or am I always shifting the dream because I actually don't believe I can achieve it? You see, it's a marriage of spiritual and emotional and mindset. It's mindset, emotional, and spirit all together. I would say that my deepest training besides leadership is it's energy training and frequency training.
Right.
Because in the end of the day, everything that I just said is a frequency and is an energy. What is the frequency of love, the frequency of shame, the frequency of desire to heal. Most of us are trapped into the trauma because the trauma keeps us safe. That is frequency. Because right now I'm in my 40s, right? What do you mean you're in your trauma? Trauma happens like when you're 2 and 3 and 7, whatever. Well, energetically, Steve says something. I feel it in my brain. I feel it in my body. And then I'm back to childhood trauma, just like that, within a second. How does this happen? If it's not through frequency.
Right. And so you bring a unique dynamic of the frequency and things of that nature. For me, I'm a licensed therapist. I'm an LPC. I'm licensed in 2 states. One of the things about the podcast is bringing a cognitive aspect, but I'm also faith-based. And so I used to be a youth minister a long time ago. And so I bring into the faith-based aspect into this because I believe the journey that I've been through has taught me a lot. I'm a late bloomer into being a therapist. I haven't done it for right out of high school, college, and boom, here I am. I look at myself as an experienced, right? And so in the amount of the time that we have left, I just want to say that I want to be able to make an impact.
That's it.
Because of what I've been through, I don't play victim. When people ask, I ask my clients, who are you? Without assigning man-made labels of performance. You're more than just a dad. You're more than just a mom. You're more than just that. Who are you? And in your essence.
In your essence.
Yes. And who I recognize myself is, I'm a child of God, right? 100%. I'm a warrior. I'm a survivor of what I've been through. And because of my military training, it's easy for me to be able to work through, process, adapt, and overcome, and work through changes. And this is our pre-launch of the changes that's coming to Coach Soul, because something greater and bigger is going to happen. And we just really want to invite you as our listeners to be able to, and even new listeners, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's iTunes, there's all kinds of platforms. There's the Podbean that does our vocal. We want to encourage you to subscribe.
If this resonates, if who we are resonates, like, and you want us to be in your realm of resonance, I love the word that you used, that if this resonates, just go to town and help to share this message with everyone in your field, with yourself, knowing that we're open to your specific needs.
Right.
We would love to hear what topics you want us to talk about, what has been going on in your life, and how you can break free to truly be standing in your essence, which I call your God-given design, your original frequency resonating you, not resonating the patterns, not resonating in the people that have, the voices in your head, the people that have programmed you / all of us. So we untangle the programming and transcending to more of you.
It's great that we can transcend, and that's what Coach Soul is doing. We're having a birthing process, and we're waiting for our grand launch next week, and I'm so excited about it. And subscribe, email us, it's coach@coachedsoul, and give us some ideas of what you want to see. So again, it's coach@coachedsoul. And until next time, take care and God bless.
Love you so much.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Coach Soul, where we aim to empower and uplift you on your journey toward personal growth and well-being to become a better you. Remember, as you navigate through life, you don't have to do it alone. We encourage you to reach out to professionals, seek support from loved ones, and prioritize your own well-being. Stay tuned for future episodes with Steve Hudgins, filled with valuable insights and actionable tips. You have the power to thrive, and with Coach Soul by your side, anything is possible. Until next time, take care, stay empowered, and keep shining your brightest light. For more information, contact Coach at coachedsoul.com.